Danny Garcia, what's good?
What's good, bro? How you?
Man, I'm good. How about you?
I'm chilling, bro. You already know, locked in, training hard, getting ready for this fight.
For sure. I know you got a big fight coming November 21st, man. How you feeling?
I feel great, man. I just can't wait to be back on top. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Taking it every day, one day at a time, and just waiting for my moment.
Right. Now, let's go all the way back to the beginning when you were, a child, growing up in North Philly, one of the most dangerous, areas in the country. Talk about, your upbringing in North Philly.
I was born and raised in North Philly. I was born on Percy and Pike, Huntington Park section. And then when I was 3 years old, I moved to Juniata section of Philadelphia, Erie and Torresdale. I began boxing when I was 7 years old. Then my father went to prison for 3 years, and then when he came home, then I started boxing again when I was 10 years old, and it's been history ever since. Ever since then, it's just been history.
So was boxing more like a family tradition, or was you like fighting kids when you were like 5 and 6 and your parents put you in boxing because you were always good at it?
If you're born in Philly and you go to public school, you're gonna fight every day. So I
Right.
was fighting. I've been a fighter since I was a kid. But as far as boxing, my father always loved boxing. Puerto Rican families, everybody in Philly loves boxing. So we always watch Tyson, Trinidad,
Yeah.
De La Hoya, Bernard Hopkins, Prince Nassim Hamed, Roy Jones Jr. So we just grew up loving the sport, and I just walked into the boxing gym one day, and I never stopped.
Right. That's what's up. So you're 7 years old. Your dad's in prison at the time. What's going through your head while your dad's in prison? Like, are you focused? Are you kind of like confused on what's going on? Did you know he was in jail?
Well, when I was 7, um, yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot going on. When you don't have your dad around and all that, so you're confused as a child. You're angry at the same time. You're mad at the world. Um, at that point, it was just survival mode for me. Every day
Mm,
just got by, survive until he came home, so we could restart our journey. So it was basically just survival mode for me, and that's who made me the man I am today. If I
right.
don't think I went through that in my life, I wouldn't be no Danny Garcia. I think that's the part that made me hungry, and that's the thing that I always have in my mind. Like when I step in the ring, that's why I give it my all, because I don't ever want to feel like that again.
Right. That's real.
Yes,
So
sir.
he comes home. You're 10 years old, and it goes full throttle from there. Like, what changes when he comes home?
To be honest, when he came home, we started from scratch. So Pops had to get a job. He was working. He was working. He worked like a regular job. Like he was a security guard at I believe like CVS or one of those drugstores. And then he worked another job for like 3 years. So when I started boxing again, somebody else was training me at the time for 3 years, because he was working. He was trying to get the family back on their feet. And
Right.
when that happened, he never, after that, he was like, I'm gonna train you. I'm gonna train you. And I was like, let's do it. And I never looked back. And that's how the journey really started.
Right. I can only imagine the relationship between you and your dad because he's your trainer, but then at the end of the day, he's your dad. Was it rocky with him being your dad? I know, arguments in the gym kind of like carried over into the crib and things of that nature.
Oh yeah, definitely. When you a kid, parents don't never know how to separate like love and like the sport. You feel me? So it was
Hmm.
always a conflict of interest for me and Pops when we were young. But like when you chasing a dream, you put all that to the side. Like you don't even
Right.
care. At this point, you just want to be successful, and you want to be the best. So to me, he was just being my dad. You understand? He just wanted the best for me, and I never let it crack me. I never let it break me. So I wanted to be a champion. I wanted to be better for my family. So I just kept going. I don't care about none of that, because I know that we can always fix that in the future.
Right. So was your dad an experience, like when he started training you, was he an experienced trainer? Like was he boxing before that as well?
Pops boxed when he was young in Puerto Rico. He never fought like professional. But he
Okay.
definitely trained. But I would say we learned together on the job. To be honest, we learned together. We worked so hard in the gym. We went to different gyms, sparred different people. We traveled the world. We learned different things, and we grew together. I learned and he learned. We just taught each other.
Right. Man, that's what's up. So this time you're growing up, you're in Philly. Were you going to school while you were training, or was you 100% boxing, like, fuck school?
When I was a kid, no, I went to school. Shit, I actually failed second grade, but that wasn't because of boxing. That was because family issues. But yeah, I definitely went to school. I went to school as much as I could, and I actually graduated high school. I didn't go to college or none of that, but I definitely always try to put school, and I just try to be the best student and give it up. After school, I would go to the gym every day at 5 o'clock. That was my schedule my whole life. I go to school, and then I go to the gym at 5, and that was basically every day till now. Same thing I do.
Mm, okay. So are you fighting, like, are you having fights during school and things of that nature, or is it, everything's casual?
What's crazy? When I started boxing, I never got into a fight at school ever again after that.
Mm,
Because you grow up, you arrogant, you a little street kid, you think you could beat everybody up until one day you go into the gym and you spar a kid that looks like a nerd. He look like a white boy, he look like a nerd. Because I went to the Harrogate Boxing Club when I was young.
right.
That was an Irish gym. So I remember I sparred this kid named Mikey Weaver. He was an Irish kid, and I looked at him. He had red hair and freckles, and I was like, this boy ain't doing nothing to me. He about to be a breeze. So, long story short, he knocked me down. I was like, damn, I got knocked down by a white boy.
Mm,
So that kind of changed my whole outlook on life. Like, never underestimate nobody, and that gave me a lot of discipline. And that's why I really never fought in the street after that, because no matter what you look like, how easy you look, you can never judge a book by its cover. That might be the wrong choice that day. So I never really got into a fight after that. I was just all about chasing my career and getting chicks. You feel me? That's it.
right. Right. That's what's up. So did you graduate?
Yeah, I graduated. I graduated high school. Yep.
Man, that's what's up. So, okay, you graduate high school. What's next?
Yeah. So in high school, I was actually the number one amateur in the country at that time. In 2006, I was the number one amateur in the country, and in 2007, I was also the number one. I fought in the Olympic trials. So going to 12th grade every day, I was driving a new car. Like, I had the silver Charger already with 22s. Like, I was
Yeah.
already doing my thing. You feel me? So I was the number one amateur. I went to the Olympic trials in 2007. My bad. 2007, I went to the Olympic trials. I got the silver medal, and then I didn't go to the Olympics. I got the silver. Then I just came back home and I turned pro, and that's when my pro career started in November of 2007.
Right. Because there's a lot of boxers in Philly. That, like you said before, that's a tradition in Philly. But when did you know, like you kind of knew you were different from everybody else?
You know what's crazy? I was always overlooked. I was always
Mm,
overlooked. Like, in Philly, coming up as a boxer, for some reason, I never got the respect I deserved. Like, they would give like all the fame to somebody else, and I never understood, like, how is this kid in the locals getting more fame than me and more attention than me if I'm the number one amateur in the country? These kids can't even
mm,
make it out the local tournament. You feel me?
right.
And they getting more love than me. So I was always overlooked, and then I always knew that I was better than everyone. You feel me? And it was just a matter of time that it showed. And look at it now. I don't know where none of them guys are.
What do you think it was? Do you think it was an image thing? Do you think it was politics? Why you feel like a lot of people in Philly slept on you so early?
I felt like I was overlooked because I didn't understand. Like, me and Pops, we just wanted to be the best. You feel me? We wanted to be the best. Like, that's all we cared about, was being the best. We didn't think about, yo, you going to the national championships. Let's call Daily News. You feel me? Let's get Daily
Right.
News to interview. Let's go down to the mayor's office to give you a day, or let's go. We didn't think about none of that. So we were learning on the job. We didn't know about marketing. And I think that's the main reason why a lot of that happened where it was overlooked because marketing. Other people's they was in the daily news, they was doing this, they was doing that, and we were just working, we putting the work in. So at the time we didn't understand how is he on the daily news. We didn't know he had a PR. You feel me? We just thought it was favoritism. But you don't know about that stuff until you grow in the game. You don't know about promoting yourself and getting a PR and spending money on marketing or doing it. We didn't know none of that. So it's not that now that I look back, we probably were overlooked, but a lot of it was we just didn't know about that. We just wanted to be the best. We just putting that work in. We didn't care about none of that stuff.